All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'll be with you. Actually, I won't be with you for very long today. And don't complain about it. Let me explain. But before I explain, let me say hello to everybody. Just a few people, so this will be quick. Anthony Prosser, first out the gate. Good afternoon, Anthony Prosser. Got Jerica Vaughn in the house. Good afternoon, Jerica. Maria Smith, representing North College Hill. Good afternoon. Erica Hummons, representing Reading. Good afternoon. Regina Denson Griffin. Good afternoon. Hold on, I think that's about it. So good afternoon to you guys. Like I said, today will be kind of short, maybe not as short as I wanted to be. James in the house. James says, look who's back. I'm back. I'm black too. James, good afternoon, James. Thank you for checking us out. All right. Man, these last couple weeks have been some busy weeks for me. Pat Rogers, good afternoon. I am sorry that I couldn't be here. Steban Speed, good afternoon. I'm sorry I couldn't be here. I wanted to be here, but I have stuff going on too. And so I want to let y'all know what's going on and what the afternoon experiment will look like for the foreseeable future. All right. The afternoon experiment will happen, but there's going to have to be some modifications. Hold on, let me see. A few other people came in. LaDonna Howard, representing East Price Hill. Good afternoon. We got Danny B. Dozier out there in Westwood. Good afternoon, Danny. Good afternoon. Sierra Brooks. Good afternoon. She's representing CVG. Does that mean the airport or actually, like Covington? But good afternoon. Ed Tolbert. Yes, I'm back. I don't know what. I'm not 100% sure how to answer that. But thank you for checking out the show. Good afternoon. Miss Pittsburgh in the house. Good afternoon. Diana Huddleston Angel. Good afternoon. LaDonna Howard says you look real chocolate. Oh, that's part of the story. Good afternoon. Rachel Russo. Hey, good afternoon. Be careful, enjoy this musical fest weekend. Oh, I forgot the music fest was coming up this weekend. I definitely won't be there. Nothing against it. I just got so much stuff going on. I hadn't even, I thought about it when they first announced the lineup. I said to Mrs. Livingston, do you want to go? And she was like, what's the lineup? And I told her the lineup, and she was like, no. So that was the end of that conversation. And I really haven't thought of it much after, or since then. But yeah, it's coming up. Edward says, is this live? No, this is not live. Mary Birch Lavender, representing White Oak. Good afternoon. Miss Pittsburgh in the house. Good afternoon, Miss Pittsburgh. Brenda Early, representing Fairfield. Good afternoon. Brian E. Cherry. I don't know why when I saw your name, I saw Checker. I saw Chubby and Checker, but not in that order. And it does not look, when I look at it now, it looks nothing like Chubby Checker. But when I saw the name, I was like, Chubby Checker. I thought he was dead. But Brian, thank you for checking out the show. Tierra Powell in the house. Good afternoon to my favorite friend of the week. Good afternoon. Did you ever get anything for being the friend of the week? Like, did you get a plaque, a certificate, anything? Just a shout out. I don't know. I wasn't there when he was doing the friend of the week. So I don't know. I would have lobbied if I was there. I would have lobbied for, at the very least, print out a certificate, put it in a frame. You can get those you can just print it off of any printer and you can get a frame like from the dollar store, even though the dollar store don't cost $1 no more. But I would have lobbied for y'all to get something. But Tierra Powell, good afternoon. Thank you for checking out the show. I appreciate you. Lamont Jones out there in Westwood, good afternoon. Got Ronald Dixon in the house. What up, though? Carolyn Smith, good afternoon. T. Mikey G, also known as Zoe Weston. Good afternoon, T. Mikey G. Good afternoon. Pamela Kinney, representing North Avondale. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. She says the love from the chat was enough for her. All right. Hey, you can't beat it. I was just curious. I'm not knocking it. I wish he would bring back the friend of the week. Even though I haven't been able to listen to the show. Like, it feel like it's been like 3 weeks. Have I been gone for 3 weeks? I don't think it's been 3 weeks. I don't think it's been 3 weeks. It feels like it's been 3 weeks, though. But let me explain what happened. See, what had happened was, Andrea Bustle, good afternoon, representing Gulf Manor. She says, welcome back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm looking at the screen like that's... Kimberly Eberhart, good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, all right, here it is. What had happened was, I was driving one day in my car, and I'm on the highway, and my little battery light comes on. Oh, Joseph in the house. Good afternoon, Joseph, representing Baltimore. Joseph out there in Baltimore. Joseph, I am fantastic. Fantastic. I hope everything is going good with you. Samuel Campbell, Sycamore Township. And Kimberly says, I've been out of town twice. All right. I was not mauled by a bear. So I'm driving my car, and the little battery light comes on. I didn't think nothing of it. My car was driving good. So me and Mrs. Livingston, we decide, hey, y'all know me. I love some Chipotle. So let's go get some Chipotle. It was like a Sunday night. It wasn't like a Sunday night. It was a Sunday night. So we hop in the car to go get some Chipotle on the highway. And, I'm driving the speed limit as I always do. And my car kind of bucked a little bit. And I'm like, what was that? And she looked at me. I said, I didn't do that. I don't know what that was. So I didn't think anything of it. Misfire, whatever. I'm driving, and it bucked twice. And I'm like, what is that? So I get ready to get off the highway. We was near the exit anyway. I get ready to get off the highway, and now my car it's barely pushing 40 on the highway. It was nighttime, but people was getting mad at me, blowing their horn. Like I'm doing this on purpose. Like, relax. So I get off the highway, turn. Once I get off the highway, it feel like it's doing okay. Little battery light still on. Again, don't think much of it. Get over to the Chipotle, and I'm sorry, Jerica, Chipotle. Get over to the Chipotle, and now I can maybe go 20. I can maybe go 20 miles an hour. So I pull over. I turn on my hazards. I pull over, and, the hazards are flashing. And then every light on the car starts flashing like, in sync with the hazard lights. The console, the headlights, I'm sure the brake lights, I couldn't see them, but I'm sure they were. The radio, the interior lights, everything starts flashing in concert with the hazard lights. I get an opportunity. I barely get it into Kroger's parking lot. Boom. It shut down. Like, shut down. Won't start. The horn won't blow. The windows won't roll up. Nothing. So I turn it off. I wait a few seconds. It won't do nothing. But the windows rolled up. So I was like, all right. So I called and got a ride home. Get the car towed over to the Honda dealer. Because that's where I take my car, to the Honda dealer. They got my car. They had the car for like a week and a half. And they kept saying, we don't know what's wrong with it. I'm like, y'all got to know something. Like, it's got to have codes. Like, read the codes. And they're like, well, we can't read the codes because it won't give us codes because whatever reason they told me. So we're going to send it to the special electrical person, whatever. Again, a week and a half later, they call me and they tell me, your alternator went out. Your alternator went out. That killed your battery. But the reason that your alternator went out is because there's this little part that in this particular engine type of Hondas, this part goes bad and leaks oil into the alternator. So I'm like, oh, man. So what is all of that going to cost me to get fixed? $2,800. What in the hell is wrong with you people? I'm not paying no $2,800 for that. So, of course, I look it up. I know I can put an alternator on. I know I can get a battery. But what is this little part? And I forget what they called it. Front something. It's the front something. Some little solenoid thing. So I looked that up, and the part cost me like $100. So I bought a secondhand battery, like $63. Did I say battery? I mean alternator, like $63. I bought a refurbished battery because my car is not the newest car. I'm not worried about the battery. So I buy a refurbished battery, and I bought the little solenoid part for $100. So I'm into this thing for just under $300. And that's the reason why I was not on yesterday, because all of the parts finally arrived yesterday. And when I got home, I'll talk about where I was. When I got home, I put all the parts on, and car runs beautifully now. So they wanted to charge me $2,800 for a job that I did that ended up costing me less than $300. So that week, though, I also had another situation. This situation I created. A few of those days, I was outside my driveway trying to fix my daughter's car. And things did not go well. All I was doing was putting new shocks and struts and springs on her car. Again, it's a Honda. I've done that before. Not a big deal. I start in the back, boom, 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 about 10 minutes. The back is done. Heck, really about 20 minutes. Took about 10 minutes for each side. Back is done. I get to the front. Boom, boom, boom. Jack it up. I get one side off. I couldn't get it back on. I couldn't figure it out. So, me thinking, hey, I go over to the other side. I'm like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to really pay attention to how I got this off. You just going to do it in reverse. Boom, boom, I get that side off. Okay, boom. And I go to try to put it back on right before I get it all the way off. And I can't get it back on. So now I got all of these parts and everything. And I'm taking all kind of stuff apart. I'm like, I said, I know I could get this back on. If I take off the lower control arm, I can get this back on. But I'm not confident. I'm not a mechanic. I know how to do some stuff, but I'm not a mechanic. So it got dark on me. I said, all right, I get it in the morning. Took her home. Of course, not in my car, in Mrs. Livingston's car. Took her home. And then she come back the next day, and I'm trying to, I can't get this thing on. Eventually, after literally being out there with somebody said something about my skin color, I was out in the sun for like 3 straight days, sweating like you wouldn't believe, and getting darker. And after 3 straight days out there, basically just looking at that thing, I ended up calling a mobile mechanic. And you'll never guess what the mobile mechanic did. The mobile mechanic said, this is not the way you're supposed to do this, but I'm going to just take off the lower control arm and then I'll get it right back on. Oh, if y'all If y'all knew how frustrated I was with me, that I had to pay a mobile mechanic to come and do what I could have done my damn self. But I wasn't confident. He was confident, you know what I'm saying? He just got it was like, what is it, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 or 6 bolts. Boom, 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 took them off, took off the old part. I already had the new part on there. Boom, put it on and reattached the lower control arm. There you go. I was so frustrated because I knew what to do. I just wasn't confident. I've never taken off a lower control arm, even though, I knew how. I just wasn't confident. So that was like a week. And then, so once I got her car straightened out and everything, I made a decision. I said, you know what? I need to go back to school. I'm changing careers. I have an idea of what I want to do. I need to go back to school. I contacted the school and they said, we got a class starting next Monday. But you got all of this stuff that you have to get. And if you don't have all of this stuff in order, you can't start next Monday. So really you should shoot for September because we got another class starting in September. This is me. I done made up my mind. I'm starting school. Y'all say y'all got classes start next Monday? That means I got a week to get everything in order so I can start class next Monday. And so last week, that's basically all I did. I was running around day and night, getting things in order. And so I started school on Monday. Started taking classes on Monday. These classes, this program is 9 to 5. So I'm in class from 9 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. But I got it taken care of. Oh, and when I tell you, I'm like, there's no way that it's going to be September. It's going to be September. I think I'm going to do my best to get it all taken care of, but it's probably going to be September. I'm going to try, but it's probably going to be September. And every day I was like, it's probably going to be September. And then literally Sunday night, the last piece came through. I was so shocked. I called the representative I texted her. And she was like, if you want to start Monday and you have this information, you can start Monday. So I went in Monday and I started classes. It's cybersecurity. A few people are saying, what are you taking? Cybersecurity, networking, coding, IT stuff. So, yeah, so now Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 for the next few months. I will be, no, not Cincinnati State. I will be in class, which of course creates a situation. The afternoon experiment is on Monday through Friday, Tuesday through Friday, Monday through Friday. Give me the benefit of the doubt. Monday through Friday from 3 to 5. It can't happen Monday through Friday from 3 to 5. It can't. So I was thinking I might be able to, I didn't really want to push it. So I was like, if I could get to the house at like 5:30, I could start at 5:30. But I was like, nah, I can't do that. I'd be pushing myself and I'm not trying to. So it's looking like maybe 6 o'clock. Monday through Friday, 6 o'clock. And I don't know if I'm going to do 6 to 8 Monday through Friday. That feel overwhelming to me after a full day of school and homework. I'm kind of thinking out loud. I'm not 100% sure what the afternoon experiment is going to look like moving forward for the next, 3-4 months. I'm not sure what it's going to look like. So I'll keep you guys. I can take suggestions, but I know y'all suggestions be selfish. So y'all suggestions be selfish. I can see somebody on here like, forget school. You can just do the afternoon experiment. Y'all be selfish sometimes. So I'm not sure what it's gonna look like. So for the foreseeable future, let's play it by ear. Let's look for maybe 6 o'clock, 6 to 7, depending on, how it go and all of that kind of stuff. Let's look at maybe 6 to 7. Because that'll give me some time to unwind and, get ready, get down here and do my 6 to 7, which also allows me to unwind unless a few certain callers call in and get me all wound up. But yeah, to give me time to unwind and then get ready to do my little work, my little homework. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's play it by ear. Jacqueline says maybe twice a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe Tuesday, Thursday. Let's play it by ear. See how it goes. See how I can react to it, how y'all react to it. And, we'll figure it out as we go along. And then we'll hopefully settle into a pattern. And, that'll be that. Daryl says, after you graduate, you can come work at my place of employment because our IT person is lazy. All he does is walk around talking and joking with folks. It took his dumb a month to fix the computer on one of my test frames. Well, we'll see what happens with that, too. But, yeah, it's interesting. Now, I was skeptical of going to this school. I'll be honest. I was skeptical. The school is Cable Academy. And I was skeptical of going here. But then I talked to a guy that I know. Like, he's, he's a good dude and I know him. Like, I know him. And he was like, bro, I went to Cable Academy and he said it's a good program. They got a good placement program, career assistance program. And, basically they going to give you everything you need to, get all of these different certifications. And, he kind of told me his career path. And yeah. He let me talk to a few other people who had gone through the program, who he knew, again, personally, and went through the program with, all of that kind of stuff. And so he convinced me it's worth giving a try. When you hear some of these programs and you'll be like, that might be a scam, But yeah, he convinced me that it wasn't and that it was very much worth it. So, yeah, I took that plunge. And then I get there, and the instructor is one of my good friend's brother. I was like, you got a brother named Tracy, don't you? And he was like, yeah, how you know? I was like, because man, Tracy, wait. So, yeah, things are kind of falling in place. But yeah, so yesterday after class, I rushed home, grabbed all those parts, and was outside till like 9 o'clock, putting all of the parts on and all of that kind of stuff so that because the first 3 days, I have to shout out Mrs. Livingston, like she ain't gonna hear it. But she was on board with everything, and I felt like a school kid. Because she was dropping me off to school. Yeah, she would wake her up in the morning like, oh, it's time to go to school. And she's like, all right. And then we get ready. And, then she give my lunch together, and then she give me my little lunch, and then she would, come on, we got to go to school. And then I get in the passenger seat, and then she drive me to school and drop me off. Have a good day at school. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I get in the car when I get out of school. And how was school? Well, school was all right. So she was on my team, but I got my car now, so I can drive myself to school. So yeah, it's everything is all good. But yeah, no, I had to miss those days. I wanted to come on, but I was just so busy doing so much that I just couldn't. And I was like, somebody was like, why don't you just post something? And I'm like, this is to explain it all. This is me on my phone, because almost all of the stuff that I do on Facebook, I do on my phone. So this is me posting something on Facebook. I was like, it's a lot to just kind of type in Facebook and explain to people. And then Nate called me yesterday, like, bro, you got to say something. I was like, I had planned on being on today because realistically the parts were scheduled to be delivered today, but they got here a day early. So gave me an opportunity to get out there and get that done. So yeah. No, I didn't get the Lincoln Wear discount for the school. I did not get the Lincoln Wear discount. And I know the guy who was at the radio station promoting the school. Like, I know him. I could pick up my phone right now and call him. I haven't talked to him, though. I don't. And it might be something I need to work on. I'm not one of them people who, if I know you and you do a thing, I call you like, hey, can you hook me up with this? I'm not one of them people. I'm one of them people who I'm going to do it. And then, when I'm done, I'm going to be like, hey, I was at your spot. Oh, you should have let me know. I would have, I'd have taken care of the bill for you, blah, blah, blah. I don't want you to take care of the bill for me. I want to support you. And a part of supporting you is paying. A part of supporting you is doing what everybody else do. That's support. Showing up, getting if you own a restaurant and I show up and I get a free meal, I don't know that that's me supporting you. Me supporting you is going to your restaurant and buying a meal and then enjoying the meal and then telling other people how good the meal was. So, yeah, I'm not one of them people who can, or not who can, but who's, hey, I hear that can I get a discount on it? I'm not one of them people. I'm not one of them people. Hold on a second. Let me see. Go here. So that's where everything is right now. And like I said, we'll play it by ear and we'll see what happens. All right. Other than that, and I haven't had an opportunity to listen to the Lincoln Ware Show. I haven't had an opportunity to listen to Wyatt Live. I haven't had an opportunity to listen to 700, to 55, to any of my other, podcasts that I listen to. I haven't had an opportunity to listen to anything. I've barely had an opportunity to watch the news. Oh, and the other thing that I've been doing is, for whatever reason, sorry, I feel like I'm losing my voice. For whatever reason, I ain't been doing much talking, see? And that's what, what I'm saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. For whatever reason, I done had a number of printing jobs, larger printing jobs that kind of really pushed my capacity. So some of them days when I was out there till it was dark trying to fix that car, then I had to run in here and come down to the print shop and do some, screen printing. So I really was busy that whole time. So yeah, I haven't had much opportunity to watch news or anything. So what is the deal? Are they about to get Trump for Jeffrey Epstein? Get him. I don't know what they can do, but Hold on, Daryl say, on some serious stuff, gonna get that degree. We ain't that important. Bettering yourself is. Oh no, I'm gonna get. That's why I said we're gonna play it by ear. I'm gonna do what's best for me, but I enjoy doing this, with y'all. I enjoy doing this with y'all. I enjoy our relationship. So yeah, I'm all good. Oh, and I didn't tell y'all, I no longer work with the television production, that does Gospel Superfest. I no longer work there. And I do want to thank, I don't really want to throw his name out there. He might not, he might not want people knowing, but I enjoy almost 3 or so years working with him. But one of the things that happened when I first went to work with him, I need a lozenge or something. One of the things that happened when I first went to work with him is I said, you know what? You've been doing this for, 20 something years, and you still have a huge portion of your library just on tape, like, old school beta. Not beta like y'all think beta, but professional Sony beta and digibeta. I was like, I really want to digitize your library. I want it all digital so you can go and you can pull up whatever. And he's like, okay. And so that was kind of how I got hired on with him in that way. Like I had already been working with him in the production, week or, a couple weeks or a couple months before the production. But to go and work with him, that was how that happened. And so after the show, he was like, you know what? I really don't have any work for you anymore. Like, you've done everything. In essence, the job is finished. You've done everything that you came here and everything that you set out to do is done. And, other than that, moving forward, it would just be you doing nothing or me trying to make stuff up for you to do. Like, I don't have anything. Everything that you set out to do, or that we set out to do, all the goals that we kind of laid out, we accomplished. So thank you. And I'm like, okay. So that was another part of like, hey, it's time to, maybe turn a page. And so I was like, hey, it's time to pursue something different. And of course, there's a few other options that I still will pursue at some point. But, this piece, I went in thinking, I don't know nothing about no IT. I don't know nothing about no cybersecurity. I don't know nothing about networking. And that's what I told him, the instructor, I don't know nothing about this stuff. I don't know nothing about this stuff. He said, okay, that's cool. That's why you're here, is to learn. But as he's laying out stuff, and again, we only, 3 days in. I'm like, I kind of know all of this stuff. I know all of this stuff. Like so far, everything that he's like, I know that. So I might know a little bit more than I gave myself credit for. But, we'll see. We'll see how everything goes now. Ronald says a piece of what hair? A piece of what hair? Some of my best friends is white. But I don't know a single black person who uses that term, Ronald. I didn't even know what that was until I was like fully grown. Daryl, yes, it kind of was his professional way of saying that. But it was true. It was true. But Ronald, I don't know. I was fully grown before I knew what that even meant. Like, what is that? And a white friend of mine explained it to me. And I was like, really? That's what y'all call it? Okay. We don't call it that. So, yeah, interesting. But back, okay, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and this whole thing taking on a life of its own. And then, so of course, he's trying to somehow throw Barack Obama in, like a distraction. And I'm kind of glad that people ain't, or maybe, I'm not, it don't look to me, based on my limited information, like people are falling for it. Like, hey, wasn't you buddies with Jeffrey Epstein? And he's like, hey, well, Barack Obama is a criminal. And people like, yeah, okay, whatever. But wasn't you and Jeffrey Epstein buddies? So I like that the people, and it's crazy that this is the thing that they want to hold him to. This, after all of the stuff that he's done, after all of the stuff that he said, this is what y'all holding on to? It's interesting. It's just interesting the way things work. Diane say, right, it's a white term. LaDonna says, never heard of it. Donald was playing with them young girls too. No doubt in my mind he was. No doubt in my mind. I mean, look, realistically, just pay attention to this man. Look, go back and pay attention to interviews and all of that kind of stuff. He's clearly just a creep. So for those of y'all who don't know, remember we had the conversation how some men don't know that they creeps. If you share certain qualities with Trump, like go watch some of his old interviews. Listen to the stuff that he talk about. Listen to how he talk about women and sex and all that kind of stuff. He's a creep. So there's no ifs, no ands, or none of that kind of stuff. Every fiber of my being believes that him and Jeffrey Epstein was doing stuff with little girls. And even if he wasn't doing it, he was aware of it. He thought it was cute or funny or whatever. Quintano say, what's the term? I don't want to say the term. Not that, because my understanding is it's really offensive. But to me, it means nothing. Okay, here's how I can do it. You watch football, and, first down, boom, you try to get it. Second down, you try to get it. Third down, you try to get it. Fourth down, and you now at 4th and 56. What do? You punt. Instead of a P, you put a C on that. That's a term. And like Ben says, for white girls, that's fighting words. That's fighting words. For I would have never known. Sammy says he sexualizes his own daughter. He's a true, sick, morally bankrupt idiot. Yes. So there is no doubt in my mind that he, messed around with some little girls with Jeffrey Epstein. He thought it was cute. And then Jeffrey Epstein, kind of got busted. And I wouldn't put it past if Trump and his administration had something to do with that man dying. I wouldn't put it past it. Not at all. So, hold on. Somebody said something. Daryl said Jeffrey Epstein's brother is saying he was sleeping with young girls. Yeah. Brian says his base still fall for the goofiness. But it's certain parts, if, again, I'm at a slight disadvantage. I haven't had much time to pay attention to the news and all that kind of stuff. So I've been, kind of reading little stories here and there. But it seems like a portion of his base is like, nah. Like, we be down with you on stuff, but no, you can't cover up this whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Like, you can't, no, all of this. Because if I remember correctly, he was talking about Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton. Like, what I'm saying? Like, oh, this guy was, a bad dude, and Bill Clinton was hanging out with him, and, so, there's got to be something there. But you was hanging out with him, writing him letters, talking about his secret. So, hey. Now, what happens behind this? Realistically, kind of nothing. He's not going to be in any criminal trouble. I doubt that they could, or anybody would even look, because, he controls the Justice Department now. They're not looking into Trump and some tie with Jeffrey Epstein. He is not going to appoint no special prosecutor or nothing like that. So, really, it really is just like a PR nightmare. That's where it starts, and that's kind of where it ends. It's a PR nightmare. Jerica say the black Trumpsters are standing strong with Trump. Oh, I gotta ask, who? Nobody is looking at that. You can't convince me that there's anybody looking at this saying, Trump is kind of innocent on all of that kind of stuff. And this is really much ado about nothing. No reasonable person is saying that. Are they? Are they? I don't know. No. Thank you, Ken. And good afternoon, by the way. Or maybe now it's about good evening. It's almost 7 o'clock. GOP Majority Leader Mike Johnson cut short House business to avoid vote on releasing Epstein files. They want to protect him so bad. But there are some people who are like, and it's just interesting to me. I'm trying to put it all together. I was reading something where who was the was it the Oath Keepers or something? One of them crazy white radical organizations. Some of the people that Trump pardoned for trying to overthrow the government. Even them, they're like, hey, no, we need to see them Epstein files. Because one thing that people don't like is to see people kind of use their power to manipulate the justice system, which is crazy because he's been doing it the whole time. And I don't understand where this is their line. I'm glad that they have a line. Some of them, I'm glad that they have a line. Look, you can grab women by the vagina. We cool with that. You can dodge the draft. We cool with that. You can refuse to rent to black people. We cool with that. You can lie and manipulate your way to the presidency. We cool with that. You can try to overthrow the government. We cool with that. You can, all of this stuff, let millions of people die from COVID while you're lying about whether or not COVID is real. We cool with that. But if you say you wasn't Jeffrey Epstein's friend, That's where we draw the line. That's a weird line to draw. All the stuff that he's done, that's your line? You can talk about having sex with your daughter. We cool with that. You can rape chicks in department store dressing rooms. We cool with that. You can bury your ex-wife at the golf club. We cool with that. You can take classified documents and store them in your bathroom. We cool with that. You get all of this stuff. We cool with all of that. But if you say that you and Jeffrey Epstein wasn't friends and you hold back those documents, oh, now we got a problem. It's a weird line to draw. I don't always understand how people's brains work. And anybody who's saying, oh, this is just a distraction. This is just a distraction. Where is their line? And it's going to be some super weird line. I don't understand. I really don't understand it. You can't just be a black male or female president because both the cooning Negroes and racist MAGA is going to come after you and come after you hard. If somebody, could help me understand. Hey, what's up? Scott Bivens. He says it's all about owning the libs. He promised a big gotcha and it didn't work out. But again, some of them are still on his team. Like, we got to protect. But see, I think the ones that's like, we got to protect him at all costs. They're thinking about the midterms. And they're thinking, ooh, do we really want to be saddled with Jeffrey Epstein? With us having to defend Jeffrey Epstein? Because if they actually get some concrete evidence tying him to Jeffrey Epstein, which again is weird because we all know, we see pictures. We've seen, he's done interviews talking about the man. Like, none of this is new, but for whatever reason, if we get grand jury testimony, and what are we looking for in the grand jury testimony? But do they think there's going to be grand jury testimony that says, yeah, me and Donald Trump had sex with a little girl? Like, that's probably not going to be there. And, what about the client list? In all reality, and I'm just kind of asking a question. How many of y'all don't think that Donald Trump has sex with an underage girl? How many of y'all believe Donald Trump has never had sex with an underage girl? Okay, maybe I ask another one. How many of us are fairly certain that Donald Trump probably has sex with an underage girl? So I just don't know why this is their line. He talked about having sex with his own daughter when she was a little girl. Why is this the line? But I'll take it. If they gonna stand up and they gonna say, no, we want to see fair justice for everybody, whether you're the president or some pedophile, we want to see fair justice for everybody. I'll take it. But they, look, Nat said he guilty on all counts. But we know that don't matter to his people. He was found liable for sexually assaulting that woman, right? And they didn't care. They did not care. LaDonna says he has. We know it. But I'm not here to defend Donald Trump. I won't do it. He is putting it mildly, he's a creep. I don't even think that's debatable. Like, no reasonable person can debate that. Like, man, he ain't really no creep. Like, you overselling it. Like, no, he's definitely a creep. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. And like I said, that's mild, because you don't be like somebody who sexually assaults somebody like, oh, he's a creep. Like, no, that's not just being a creep. That's a whole different level. What else is happening? I heard a story, and maybe somebody can give me, and again, I feel like this was 2 weeks ago, where somebody shot a 12-year-old who was still in his car, and he got arrested, or he shot and killed. A 12-year-old was killed, but he might not have been the person who was actually still in the car, but he was with people when they were still in the car, and shots rang out, and a 12-year-old ended up being dead. That's a sad story. But I think I have a slightly unpopular take on that. And I don't want to see anybody hurt or killed. But don't steal people's shit. I know that's a crazy take. Like, you don't steal people's stuff. But do that mean you take a life? No, but at the same time, if you've ever been the victim of, a crime like that, I don't want to say it's reasonable, but I think, and I'm just saying what I think. I'm not sure what I would do in the situation, but if I'm in a situation, I go outside and I see somebody still in my car and I happen to have a gun on me, I might pop off a few shots. Is that right? I don't know if it's right. It's just kind of instinctual. Hey, stop thief. Pop, pop. If I'm on a jury and someone was in this situation, would I find that person guilty? I don't know. Daryl says, what's sad about that shooting is that the 12-year-old was hitching a ride home with his friends who stole the car. And if that's the, not, take your word for it. If that's the case, that is sad. You really do have to, be mindful of who you spend your time around, the type of people that you spend your time around. But again, I wouldn't say, hey, if you see a 12-year-old still in your car, kill him. No. But hold on, who just said it? Jacqueline Wonder Woman. She said, people work hard for the things they have. For somebody to come along and take it, right? I've been out here hustling. Whatever that looked like. If that looked like me going to a 9-to-5 job, if that looked like me driving for Uber, or if that looked like me on these streets doing whatever, I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there hustling. And then you're going to come and just take my stuff? Reaction. Oh, hold on. My car. Pop. I understand it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying I understand it. But you feel bad for the family. You feel bad for, at least I do. Some people don't. I feel bad for the family. But really, I feel bad for everybody involved, maybe except for the people who didn't get killed. That didn't sound right. It didn't come out right. But, they're the ones who really didn't suffer any severe consequences. I don't know how many people it was. But if I'm with two people and they steal a car and I end up getting killed, I got a severe consequence. The person who killed me get arrested and, they're going to be charged with some serious stuff. They got some severe consequences. My family lost me. They are suffering from some severe consequences. The family of the person who killed me, they lost their loved one. They're in jail, maybe for the rest of their life. They're suffering some severe consequences. The two people who stole the car, they might be charged with stealing the car, but they're probably not going to be charged with the murder of the 12-year-old. Now, if I'm wrong on this and some other stuff have come out and they are charging them with, murder of the 12-year-old, then let me know. But to me, that would be the appropriate charge for them. If not for their actions, the 12-year-old is still alive. They should be charged with that 12-year-old's death. Again, if I'm understanding the situation correctly. So if they're not charged with that, whatever happened to them, they got off easy. I don't feel bad for them. Those are the only two that I don't feel bad for. Because everybody else is suffering tremendously. Tanika, what's up? What's up, Tanika? When I get off here, I got to go watch the latest episode of Pop the Balloon or Find Love. I saw that it got posted today, so I got to go watch it. I don't know why you popping up made me think about that. Well, I know why, because we talked about reactions and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, those are the people, those two are the ones who I don't feel bad for. And they probably feel bad because they're friends. I don't know. I don't feel bad for them. Anthony says, I still want to know where his parents were. Him being out that time of night at 12. See, I'm a proponent of parents knowing where their kids are and all of that kind of stuff. But I don't blame the parents in this case. Again, based on my very limited understanding. I don't care what time of morning, what time of night it was. The truth of the matter is, some kids fall through the cracks. Some parents don't do the best job of parenting. And the idea that we just gonna throw all these parents in jail because of their children's bad acts. If you help your kid, you go to jail. If your kid is some sort of just delinquent, I feel bad for you. Well, maybe not. Depending on your situation, I might feel bad for you that you have a delinquent. You did some bad stuff in raising them or whatever. You didn't know what you was doing. The tea is no joke. I rode on that 16 bus coming from my daughter's house. The best cut through there. I laid down in my seat. I don't know what that means, LaDonna. You know I'm not hip. You know what I'm saying? What is the tea? Yes, I saw a few people put up Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away. Yeah, I was kind of shocked when I saw that. But, I mean, it's sad, and I wish his family, I feel bad for his family, all of that kind of stuff. I don't wish death on anybody. So, a few people telling me what the tea is. Winton Terrace is the tea. Oh, when did Winton Terrace become the tea? See, I ain't hip to stuff. I don't know stuff like that. But yeah, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo, passed away. And condolences to him and his family. And I guess his fans. Too. That's all I got on that. I'm sorry. I wasn't and I'm gonna be very careful. I wasn't a big Malcolm Jamal Warner fan. But I didn't wish anything bad on the brother, so, Vernon says, drowning seems like it would be a terrible way to die. I'm certain that it is. I almost drowned once. And I say I almost drowned. Theoretically, maybe I didn't. But I took on water. Like when I was taking my, the 2 years before I became a lifeguard or got certified to be a lifeguard, I didn't know how to swim. So I learned how to swim the summer before my 9th grade year. But I had already signed up for swim classes. So, I took my first swim class. And at Aiken, the pool was, what was it, 12 feet, 14 feet, 16 feet, whatever it was really deep. I did not have a good sense of how deep it was. And I, got in and I had gone to the bottom a few times in a particular way. But this one time, I didn't take a deep enough breath getting ready to go to the bottom. And I didn't go to the bottom the right way. That's a whole different discussion. So I would say I probably got almost to the bottom. And then I started running out of air. And not being, very experienced at swimming, instead of just finishing my descent to the bottom, pushing off, making my way up, I just stopped and start trying to swim up. But again, I was losing my breath. And I don't know, of course, how close I was to the top. And I just completely ran out of, I couldn't hold my breath no more. And I, as one does when they can't hold their breath no more, breathe in. And it was nothing but water. Nothing but water. And at this point, basically, I'm drowning. And I'm fighting with everything I got to get to the top. And eventually I made it to the top. So I must have been relatively close. But those, what seemed like, it was probably about 3 seconds, seemed to last for 5 minutes. And I was panicking. And once I got to the top and everything, I'm coughing and, throwing up and all of that stuff. But yeah, drowning, I imagine, is one of the worst ways to go. Trying to get in at just the natural process of breathing, but it's water coming in. I would imagine it's one of the worst ways to go. And again, I don't wish that on anybody. Somebody say, what you got against Theo? I said I had anything against him. I said I wasn't a fan of his. I didn't care for his acting. I didn't care for the way he speaks or the way he acts. It don't mean I got anything against him. I'm just not a fan. That's it. There's a number of actors that I watch and I'll be like, he's not a good actor. Like, he's not believable in that role. He's not, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't embody the character for me. So that was it. I had nothing against him. I'm just not, hold on, do I have to, excuse my language, do I have to be on everybody's dick? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't care for your acting and it makes me not a fan of yours, that don't mean I got something against you. But you just like everybody. You like everybody. Good actors, bad actors. Oh, I love them. I'm a fan. Like, hold on, I'm trying to answer. Brent?
Hey, I was just scanning the Facebook Live and I ran across your podcast. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm all right. Now, are you talking about the diving pool, right? 15 foot of water?
Sure, yeah.
That you almost around in. Because I thought I heard you say 6 foot of water. That's why I was questioning.
Yeah, no. If I said 6, then I definitely misspoke. It was either 12 or 16 or, somewhere in that area. But yes, it was a diving pool. Yes.
Okay. All right. Now that's making more sense because, yeah, that is the first time jumping in. You got to go to the bottom and you come up and you see the bubbles going up and you like, man, that's a long way up there. And then once you finally get there, it's like, ooh, I'm not doing that again.
And again, for me, what that taught me is, even if you're running out of breath, get to the bottom. Because then you can push off and, catapult yourself to the front. But trying to swim to the top is that's not where it's at.
Yeah, especially if you're panicking and beating the water, and yeah, that water looking at you like, huh?
I've
Nah.
never been more afraid in my life because I was just 100% convinced that I was about to die.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I
Yep.
don't wish that on anybody. It's horrible.
Yeah. 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 I can only imagine with his family because he was married, right?
That's my
Or
understanding.
was he?
Yeah.
Okay, because I heard from two guys at work, two different black guys, that he was down with the transvestite types. And I was like, what? He was like, oh, it's always been out there. I'm like, okay, I don't remember hearing nothing about that. But
Yeah. I don't remember hearing
yeah.
because he lived with Regina King.
Mm-hmm.
And he put her
Yep.
out like,
Oh,
yeah, he put her out
and
like on Valentine's Day or something like that.
yeah, and wasn't one of his first TV wives your favorite actress, Tracy Ellis Ross?
I don't know. I mean, did
I thought.
they played on something together?
I don't know what show it had to have been Girlfriends, and I didn't watch Girlfriends, but I'm assuming that's what it was. But I saw something with both of them in the picture together, and they were talking about TV. So that's the only other series I even recall her being in. But yeah, that's sad. And then when Ozzy Osbourne turned around and said, "I can't let that Negro get all the condolences," so he up and died too. I'm like, ain't that something? Ain't that just like a white man to do something like that?
Well, they say they go in threes.
Within 3 weeks, 2 weeks, a month. Lincoln massages his timelines and then the types of people, because it used to just be singers and entertainers. Now he's talking famous people. I'm like, oh my goodness, stop trying to make yourself seem right. There are enough people in this country that are famous that will die within a 3-week period of time.
Yes.
But it is so hilarious when someone dies, and that's the first thing you look at. Well, who else died? Well, man, I hope it ain't me that died. They're gonna die this time to be one of the entertainers. I'm like, oh, come on, Lincoln, come on. But yeah, going back a little bit because it's been a while. Family reunion went pretty well.
Good.
We did barbecue on the 4th. It was not a 4th of July barbecue. It was a barbecue on the 4th. We did the regular Saturday event, and then we did a Sunday brunch. But we had like 102 people, at least according to the Chat GPT. I asked them to count the people in the picture. But 102 people in the picture, which I was surprised that many came. We had people come from New York to California to Arizona, Florida, and then me coming from Texas. So,
how did the live streams go?
Oh my goodness, there was too much going on, and I was the coordinator, the chairman. So I got every single question, including from people who came 2 hours late, talking about we ain't got no place to sit. Where we gonna sit? And my first response, I was thinking in my head, you should have showed up on time to get you some seats. But I'm trying to be cordial, and we found a table for him and got him seated. But yeah. Somebody decided to put one of my uncles in charge of getting folks from the hotel with a truck to go to my other uncle's house to get all the food that he smoked to get up to the venue. And once I said it was him, I'm like, who in the hell did that? He ain't never been reliable his whole life.
Oh.
You gonna put him in charge?
He know what he's doing.
Yeah, being a hellion like he's been since the beginning. But yeah, but even when it came down to we got all the elders seated because they weren't listening to my son, so I had to come back in on the microphone, get people lined up. And then my uncle decided, a couple of uncles decided they were going to turn around, yell at my mom, and tell her to come sit up there with them. And I was like, Mama, fine, leave her, let her be. And they looked at me and then started back yelling at my mama. And I was like, oh. So I got the microphone, I got really close, and I said, will the two men in the front please sit down so we can take this picture? And you should have saw the look on their face, like they wanted to cut me. And they started saying, I couldn't hear what they were saying. I was like, will the two old men please sit down, Mom. It's fine. And they finally sat down, and Mom was in the picture. And I'm like, they may have thought that they were yelling at their sister, but they were yelling at my mama. So I wasn't gonna let that happen. I don't care who it was, but yeah. So one uncle hasn't talked to me since, and the other uncle said I got to do better, but didn't explain what do better was. What, not embarrass you for being out of line, for not just sitting down? I don't know, but it's all good. But it was pretty good seeing everyone. We smoked 15 slabs of ribs, 80 pounds of leg quarters, 2 hams, a pork shoulder, and we did a brisket, all in one of my uncle's massive smokers. It was one of those old school, but like propane, big propane tubes. So,
Eating all that damn pork.
so yes. Hey, there was chicken, and you heard me mention the chicken. There was chicken in there, and we even had fish for our vegan family members that they drove all the way from California. It was a family road trip, and then thankfully they flew back. But they're vegans that eat fish, and I didn't know that was a thing. But no problem.
They're called pescatarians.
They call themselves vegans. So just like I got a niece who's a vegan, but when I make them ribs, she was tearing them jokers up. I'm like, hey, I don't want you to go against what you want. She's like, oh, I eat meat from time to time. I'm like, well, you ain't no damn vegetarian if you eat meat from time to time.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, and then right after that, unfortunately, my mother-in-law passed, so we had to go down to the Florida Panhandle.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you. To lay her to rest, and we had a couple different services there where she lived most of her life and then her hometown. But it was great. I got a chance to, really get to know her better when she was going through the cancer treatment, when she lived here with us for a year and a half. During COVID, and she got a chance to understand that the way I treated her was the way I treated my own mother. So we ended up on good terms. She has some old timey ways, more like my grandmother. So, but she's not in any more pain. Didn't want to go through another round of chemo, which is understandable because I saw what the first round did to her. And, she lived her life, saw her children graduate from college, saw grandchildren. And so, she went out on her own terms. So, I got to respect that, even though it's, her children and grands are still hurting. But I was like, hey, you'll be all right. Each day will get a little bit easier. Not saying you won't start crying, when you have memories or see something of hers that, she still has in her house. And I tell my wife, I'm like, look, I'm just here. Anytime I need to talk, want to vent, whatever, I'm here. So, Donald Trump, I don't want to talk about Donald Trump. And I know LaDonna has been, she's been punching the air these past few weeks that you haven't been on, because we haven't had a chance to talk about the wrestling report.
All right.
I think I'm only going to talk about 2 things, LaDonna, so this is quick. So the first thing, what was it? That freaking Rollins got hurt.
Yeah, I saw that.
So now he's on the shelf. How long is he supposed to be on the shelf?
Maybe. I'm still not convinced that he's actually hurt.
Okay, because I didn't see the injury. I just saw that it was out, and it looked like they had to bring back Roman Reigns sooner than what they wanted to bring
I think
back.
it might be a work. I think he's playing hurt. The reason I say that is because they haven't officially said how long he's out or anything like that. They said, well, he went to get evaluated, and then Paul Heyman says he gonna be out for a long time. But they haven't officially said he out. So I think he might be faking hurt, and then he's going to come and cash in at SummerSlam.
Yeah, because they have still been walking around with the briefcase. So
yeah,
I could see that happen. Yep. And the only other thing I wanted to talk about was they had a TNA pay-per-view, which I haven't seen one of their pay-per-views in years. Since back before AJ Styles had left and before Hogan had came. But they actually had a pretty good pay-per-view. You know, they had a bunch of old ROH and was AEW and WWE folks in the mix.
Yeah.
But they had this young guy named Leon Slater. And he wound up beating Moose. I don't know if you know who Moose is.
I do not.
Moose was in ROH. He's a big guy. He's like 6'5", 300 plus. So he's real powerhouse. And this guy he's 20 years old from Britain, you know. So he's from across the pond. But he does this move. It's like a swanton. Starts off with a swanton, but turns into a 450
I
splash.
did see that. Yes.
Yeah. So that match was actually pretty good. And for him to be that young, and he's going to put on, you know, more weight over time. You know, I don't know how he is on the mic because he's from England, so his teeth were he gonna need some veneers. He need to call what's his name, Roman Reigns, and give the Miz a call because both of them jokers got veneers. But for him to be as young as he is, and you know, as well as he did in the ring, and for them to put the belt, it was an X Division belt, on him, so I was like, hey, that's respect there.
Yeah.
But I think that's all I had. That was all I had. I wish I could have got Facebook Live working, but like I said, there was just too much going on, food being late. Macaroni and cheese 3.5 hours late. And then my cousin's going to be mad at me because she's saying I'm rushing her. I'm like, well, you should have been out in the club until 4 o'clock in the morning with a hangover trying to make macaroni and cheese. So yeah. So I know who to trust if I organize it next time and who not to. Uncle Arby, yes. Uncle Joseph, hell no.
Well, I'm glad everything went good.
Yes, it did. All right. Well, you have a good one. And is this going to be your new normal time?
We're playing it by ear, possibly.
Okay. All right. Because I think that would make us all a little bit more productive in the workplace. But, hey, it all comes out in the wash.
All right. Hey, Brent, I appreciate the call.
Take it easy.
All right. That was Brent. Excuse me. Let's see what else. Well, there was something else. Oh, there was something else that I wanted to discuss or that I had thought about. I can't think of what it was. Can't think of what it was. 513-717-KING, 513-717-5464. That's the number to get on board. I'll give you guys a few more minutes. Twin.
What's up, player?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Long time, man. You all right?
I'm all right. How about you?
I'm blessed. I can't complain. What you been up to, E, man? Somebody bombed you out or something?
Man, I gave a whole rundown.
Oh, I missed the show.
Well, the short version is, I was doing some stuff and I started some classes.
What class is that?
IT.
NIT?
Huh?
What'd you say, NIT?
I did not say NIT. I said IT, like computer classes.
Yeah, I know it is. Oh, that's what's up, dude. That's what's up. I thought you got it jammed up with a lot of orders or something.
I did have a number of orders, but that wasn't what was keeping me off of here.
I ain't want too much, man. Just welcome back to the, experiment.
What do you think about your boy Trump and this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing?
Ain't nothing but a puppet show.
What does that mean?
Distraction.
Who's using it as a distraction, and what are they trying to distract people from?
He you know how they did it. You know how he came out with the cats and dogs and other things, and I think he just trying to distract the people. You know how they came out with the Diddy and everything, and the
Hold on, wait.
government was.
Hold on, wait. I just need. Who is trying to distract people?
Man, he just, hyping the crowd up. Trump is.
So
Trump is.
Wait, so you believe that Trump is creating this whole stir about Jeffrey Epstein?
Pretty much. He knows everybody, government and everybody, they know what's in that file. They know when, what time it took place and everything else. So it's just a puppet show, man. A straight soap opera.
And
talk about.
What is he trying to distract us from?
If he try to make move with Israel or, Russia, who knows? He's unpredictable, man. So it's a distraction. Throw y'all off. Hey, give him something to talk about while I make this move right quick. And that's what he's doing. And every day, hey, everybody's just waiting. Just like, we wait for you to come on every day, but, you ain't pop up. So that's
So, again, just so that I understand, Trump is making everybody focus on Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, kind of bringing up the fact that he may or may not.
Yeah, man.
That Trump.
Yeah,
so Trump
because
wants us to believe that he may or may not be a pedophile.
That man, he's something, man. Because he was on. I think to be honest, Emanuel, I think they modified that video or whatever, the records, whatever they hold him back on. I don't know what it is, the records, video. I think they modified, like, hey, take this out and do this, then send it to him. They doing something, or just a stunt or something, publicity or something. I don't know.
So
but
Trump, so Trump wants us to believe that he may be a pedophile.
No, he don't want you to believe that. That's why I said they probably modified the video or the files or something like that. They did something. Because it's been going on for years, man. Why you think they rushed that Giselle Maxine lady so fast? In a federal, man, they rushed that case so fast. Man, and then she couldn't even get phone calls and all that.
Right.
And then they killed, to be honest, man, they killed that man.
Who do you believe killed him?
The government killed that man.
So you think Trump killed
the elites? Yeah. And they cut your supply off. They killed that man. He knew too much. She knew too much.
Hold on. I just want to make sure I understand it. So you believe that Donald Trump killed Jeffrey Epstein?
It was a hit.
By Donald Trump?
Yeah, it was a hit. Either by Donald Trump or one of the elites. It was a hit. The top authorities.
But you still...
It was a hit. It's too many people in there. Emmanuel, it's too many people in there on that tape or whatever, in that document, affidavit, whatever you want to call it. It's too many people on there, man. Hey,
okay.
Somebody talking too
last
much.
Last time, because I'm only slightly confused, but I have one more question, and it'll clear everything up. So,
okay.
You believe that Donald Trump may be a pedophile who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, who had Jeffrey Epstein killed, and now is using his pedophilia and his murder to distract. Hold on, let me get the question out. He's now using his pedophilia and his murder to distract us from something else, and you still support this guy.
Come on, man. Now, why you got to do that, man? See, I call with a good or positive attitude and everything, and you come with that. So you support this guy.
Right. I'm asking.
Man,
you can say, no, I don't support him. I'm asking.
Y'all voted for Biden and all that, and y'all support him. Voted for Clinton, and they flooded the black community.
So I'm asking.
And everything messed up the black community. So what's the difference?
I'm not asking.
A crime is a crime.
I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm asking. So you
why would you say that though?
Because I want an answer to the question.
So you have to come on I came with a positive note today.
There's nothing not positive about me asking, do you support Donald Trump? That's not negative.
No, I don't support, what he's doing. Some of the stuff he's doing.
I'm asking, do you still support him as president?
No, I don't support him. I'm just,
okay.
I don't support him.
Okay. That's it. That's the question. You don't support him. So the answer to the question is no, I don't still support that guy. That's the answer. It don't have to be, contentious or anything like that. It was just a question.
Now, for some of his policies or whatever, his agenda, what he brought to the table out that crime bill and everything, but
What?
we always got flaws and everything and all skeletons and all call it. So, you can't judge nobody.
What?
You live and you learn.
You
Move on.
absolutely can judge people. People who have sex with little kids and murder people, you can look at them and say, those are bad people. You are, it's almost mandatory that you judge those people.
This was sin to judge somebody, man.
Who told you that? Wait.
You better look in the Bible, man.
Where do it say in the Bible that it's a sin to judge people? That's not in the Bible.
Okay, man.
It's not. You just made that up.
I'm not. I okay.
It's not a sin to judge people.
Okay. It is, man. And that's for 242. When somebody, what they say, when they point 2 or 3 pointing back at you, 3, something like that in the Bible.
That's not in the Bible. That is not in the Bible. If you point at somebody, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. That is not from the Bible.
Hold on. Hold on, player.
I'm holding. What are you looking it up? I don't know what you're doing. What's happening?
No, hold on, player.
What am I holding for? I don't know what I'm holding for.
Yeah, it is. It is, man.
Okay,
Just
read
look
it.
at Matthew 7, what is it? Matthew 7, 1 through 5, man.
Hold on. Matthew 7, 1. Let's just go Matthew 7. All right. Tell me. Hold on. First, let's. What point are you trying to say is in the Bible? That if you point one finger at somebody, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. That's what we about to read.
I have to look that one up.
If thou pointest thou finger at thine brother, thou havest 3 fingereth pointeth back at thou. You think that's in there?
I got to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's up in there. I read something about it. I'm gonna look it up and get back with you. But I know it's somewhere up in there, man.
All right, but Matthew 7. What do that say?
It's often cited where Jesus said, "Do not judge. You too will be judged." It's interpreted as a warning against judging others harshly or hypocritically, like you.
What are you reading?
Matthew 7 and 1.
That is not what Matthew 7 and 1 says. You want me to read it to you?
No, I ain't reading. No, I was reading something else.
Yeah, I know.
Let me pull up this Bible.
I got it up. You want me to read it to you?
Go ahead.
Judge not that ye be not judged. That's what you're talking about?
Same thing I just said.
No, that's not what you said. But secondly, let me ask you the question. Is that what you're talking about?
It's the same thing, man.
So that's what you're talking about. So let's finish. Because a lot of people do stop there. And they really believe that means you're not supposed to judge people. But here is why that was said. So I'm going to read and then I'm going to continue. Judge not that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be meted to you again. So that is my interpretation. That's not saying you can't judge people. That's saying judge people fairly and righteously, because you're going to be judged. So with the same judgment that you judge, that's how you'll be judged. So if you judge really harshly, you'll be judged really harshly. But if you judge fairly, You'll be judged fairly. And I think it's fair to say that a guy who has sex with little kids and murders people is a bad guy. And if I was having sex with little kids and murdering people, I wouldn't have a problem with somebody looking at me and saying, that's a bad guy. That's what that means. That don't mean you're not allowed to judge. You can't decipher what's right and what's wrong. That's what you think Jesus was saying. Like, it is not, you are not allowed to, say something is right, and you're not allowed to say something is wrong. That's really what you think Jesus was saying.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's foolish.
To you.
So you think Jesus would be okay with a pedophile? Like Jesus was like, yeah, go on, have sex with little kids. Who am I to say it's wrong?
How many pedophiles in the Bible, though?
I didn't ask you that. I asked you, do you believe that Jesus would look at a pedophile and say, hey, who am I to say that's wrong?
You said you asking what?
Do you believe that Jesus would look at a pedophile and say, who am I to say that that's wrong? You can't say that that's wrong.
I can't answer that.
Well, yes, you can. You know good and daggone well. As a matter of fact, and I don't know the scripture off the top of my head, but Jesus actually admonished people about doing harm to little kids. Why would he say somebody suffer the little children, and anybody who do wrong to one of these little children, basically some bad stuff gonna happen to them? Why would he say that if it wasn't wrong to do wrong to little kids? That was judging, man. That's judgment. Jesus said, hey, that's wrong. Don't be hurting no little kids. Who am I to judge? You're a human who's supposed to have compassion towards other humans, and in particular, little kids. It's your responsibility that if you see somebody harming a kid to say, don't do that. That's wrong. Well, but who am I to judge? No, let them have sex with them little kids. Who am I to judge? That's foolish.
Say so.
I do.
Man, you just want to argue. What? All right, go to okay. Go to 58, 9, and 10 Isaiah. Dang, that's a big deal.
What? Go to what?
No, I'm saying that deal. Isaiah 58 and 10. Isaiah 58, verse 9 and 10.
What about it?
Just read it.
Okay, but before I read it, what do you think this verse is saying?
It's about to point out a finger.
Okay. Then shalt thou call, and the Lord shall answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, here I am. If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity, and if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as noon of day. What does that have to do with if you point a finger at somebody? Just because the word finger is in there, that don't mean that they're saying if you point one finger at somebody, you got three pointing back at you. That is not in the Bible. It's not.
You don't understand. You don't understand Bible. I see you don't. It's way. I'm glad you try to catch on, but I see you don't.
What? Where? Okay, then show me where that says if you point one finger at somebody, you got three pointing back at you. You read it and tell me where I missed it. I see the word finger, but I don't see nothing about three fingers pointing back at you. Show me. Teach me, my brother. Teach me.
Let me stop it. I'm going to leave that alone. What else, Emanuel?
Nothing. Nothing else. Nothing.
It's a distraction, man. I think it's just when it all boils down to it's a distraction to throw us off. That's all. Throw the people off who want to really sit there with the popcorn and wait. I knew it. I knew it. That's all it is, man.
But just so I'm
It's a
clear, you
distraction.
believe
So,
that Donald Trump is the one creating the distraction.
of course,
Okay.
who else? Who else doing it? I
I-
believe he all in the middle of it, doing all of it.
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
Yeah. So they would have been released 1,000. People pushing for it and everything. But I don't know, man. What's on them? I can't judge. They can take that up with God.
You
On them
can judge.
That's what it's all about. Him sleeping with young kids or something, or was he on a boat, whatever it was, yacht, island?
Well,
What is that all about, though?
I mean, if my understanding of it is correct, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, she recruited
She recruited the girl.
underage
Yeah,
girls.
She recruited.
And Jeffrey Epstein allegedly had a list of people, wealthy and or prominent people, who he supplied
Yeah.
women and sometimes underage girls as prostitutes to. And apparently there's a list, allegedly, of people who he supplied these prostitutes to. Some of it happened, I guess, on his island. Some of it happened in New York. Some of it happened on a boat. He was a billionaire, so it happened all over the place.
Yeah.
And allegedly, apparently, Donald Trump may or may not have been one of those people who he supplied either prostitutes or underage prostitutes to.
No, to be honest, I believe he did. He did supply, she was a recruiter or whatever. And, he knew too much, man. Didn't he have a tell-all book coming out that Epstein got?
I don't
I
know.
believe he was ready to come out with a book, they were saying. So, yeah, he was in that book or whatever. He's in that file, man, that paperwork. So, hey, man, we can't let this out. And there's too many people, who knows, Bill Gates, who else, Warren Buffett, top authorities, man. And he knew too much, and he was going to tell it and say, hey, we can't let this happen. Get rid of him. They ain't destroy the evidence, but they destroyed him, took him out.
All right.
The paperwork evidence. So, yeah. What else, man?
That's it.
No, that's it. I have to call, get on your nerves and everything.
How's things
I'll
going
holler
at
at you,
how's things going at Kroger? Oh no. Hold on.
Sorry, man.
Did you get you a car yet?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but
May I ask what kind of car?
No, I ain't telling. I ain't telling in case you pull up on me or go
I
see
wouldn't
it in
know.
the parking lot.
You could say
Tell.
Toyota. You know how many Toyotas is out there? I'm not asking the license plate number. Just what brand?
I ain't telling. Because you're going to think I'm going to get a Buick or something like that, right? That's what you want me to say.
I don't want you to get another
okay,
brewery.
I got a Buick. It is.
Yeah, don't get another brewery.
Yeah, I got a Buick, man. Did you want to wait for me to say, yeah, I got one?
Really? You got another brewery?
Yeah, that's what you waiting for me to say, right?
No, I'm just asking. I don't know what you got.
I just told you.
Okay. All right.
All right, man.
I take it.
I'll let you, man.
All right, twin.
Bye.
Oh. Hey, he got another brewery. Oh, y'all can say what y'all want to say. I like twin. Oh, all right, y'all. I got to get ready to get out of here. I got to go do some reading and all of that good stuff. I Oh. Oh. Okay. I'll take this one. Shelly.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Shelly?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good.
So on this Epstein and Trump situation,
Uh-huh.
now just take an objective view with me here for a second.
All
Okay.
right. I'm just gonna listen.
Okay. So a lot of it, all roads lead back to Ohio. Now remember I told you how Epstein first was caught with underage girls at Les Wexner's house up there in New Albany, Ohio, right?
Okay.
Now, Les Wexner and DeWine, who's still around forever. Now, mind you, I think they're all criminals. I mean, Trump probably is too, but I think when it comes to Trump, he has a vendetta because he's the one who put the story out there, right? I don't think he was like having sex with 8-year-olds, 17-year-olds, perhaps. But nobody's asking who is supplying the children. Where do the children come from? It's not just about sex with underage girls. This is about human trafficking.
Hold on, just so you know, that's not true. The question was asked, where did the children come from and who supplied the children? Thus, Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail.
But where did she get the children?
She used other children to lure those children, according to, what they theorize happened.
Right, and we know that over 80% of the children that are trafficked are involved with foster care. And this is big in Ohio. This is just big in Ohio, even in Cincinnati.
I'll take your word for that, but I don't know that to be true.
Well, I mean, there's new laws in place now as far as reporting when the group homes, foster kids, like here in Cincinnati. On a side note, like a couple years ago, the laws were changed with Title IV, blah, blah, blah. So the reason that they're putting these kids that get in trouble into group homes and therapy is because Hamilton County wants the Title IV money. So instead of putting them into juvie and blah, 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 they want that Title IV money. It's the same thing with the addicts and putting them in group homes, too. They want that addiction and mental health money and stuff like that. But here's the thing about foster care and these children that are being supplied, okay? They go missing, they don't have to be reported. The law is about change. Donald Trump changed that. I'm not simping for the man. I'm just saying.
You kind of are, but that's okay.
I'm not, but he is the only one that even put a spotlight on the ship because nobody else ever has.
That's not true.
Okay, when it comes to the records, the Epstein files, right? When it comes into the lower courts, which we know here in Hamilton County, the prosecutors are dirty. The DAs are dirty. The magistrates are dirty. The judge, like Winkler, he's a dirty snake. That man is a child trafficker. What's up with him with all the guardianships and the adoptions, and the man's a snake, okay? So the lower courts create the record. They prevent exculpatory evidence. They don't let the children speak. They don't let the family speak. So they create the record. So with that record that the lower courts create, when you go to appeal a case, you have nothing to appeal because the record's already been fudged by the lower courts. So that's one thing that affects these higher up, the higher up courts and stuff like that. Okay. State agents have immunity, right? So when the kids go into foster care, everyone says, where's the parents? The parents are silenced. They have no recourse and they have no rights. You can take a child. Okay, I mean, it's just happening. It's happening all over the United States. It is $1 trillion business, okay? That's why we have missing children. Everyone's getting paid. The Republicans are getting paid. The Democrats are getting paid. A lot of it has to do with sex, but it also has to do with organ harvesting. But more of it has to do about the money, okay? So you're not going to see, like, Donald Trump in a video. You're not going to see Bill Clinton in a video. But who were in the videos that they were watching, right? So we know that 80% of the children that are trafficked, that are in these videos, in these child porn videos, are wards of the state. State agents have immunity.
Just for the record, I don't know that. You keep saying we know. You may know. I don't know.
There's lawsuits. There's lawsuits in New York.
Again, you may know this stuff. I don't know it, so I'm not gonna.
Fair enough. L.A. County, there is a $4 billion lawsuit that these kids brought against the county for being sexually abused as wards of the state. So that's group homes, foster homes, whatever. But so we have the victims. The victims won a lawsuit. But guess what we don't have? We don't have arrests of the people that raped those kids. The kids admit that say they were raped. We acknowledge that they were raped. We know they were raped. We're giving them money for being raped. But the rapists are not arrested. So everyone wants to look at the top, but nobody's looking from the bottom to the top.
Some of them may or may not be president of the United States.
They may or may not be. They may or may not be. I mean, I'm not arguing that fact. But the reality is nobody was even looking at any of this until President Trump got in. He's the one who created the Families First Act. He's the one that changed the reporting laws to where if you are a ward of the state, you have an interaction with the police, it has to be documented. You go to the ER, it has to be documented. That didn't exist before. Okay? He's the one that
I don't think he did those things.
Yes, he did. He's the one that put in the Family First laws. I'm not sympathetic for the man, but the truth is the truth.
You are.
Here's
You
the thing. I feel
clearly
like
are.
I think I wouldn't say he was set up, but I feel it's like, have you ever met someone that's like, man, don't bring problems to my house.
But wait a minute. But I want you to understand, he doesn't pass laws. He doesn't. He doesn't pass. Whether you like him or whether you hate him, whether the laws are good or the laws are bad, he doesn't pass laws.
Does the governor pass laws? Does the mayor pass laws?
No.
Okay, then who passes laws?
The legislature.
Okay, but who presents the bills?
Typically the legislature.
Okay. So before 2018, was anyone even talking about this before then?
Yes.
Okay, my thing is, I'm not saying that Donald Trump did not have sex with underage girls. Do I think he was raping little boys that were 8 years old? No. Okay, but my thing is, they're all guilty and some, not 100% of the people in government are, but a large portion of them are, but it's mostly about money. It's about money, right?
I agree.
So it's like, think about this. If somebody comes to your house and they bring trouble to your house, you have to protect yourself. You can't do nothing right away because then you're going to bring trouble upon yourself. So you got to figure out some way later on, like, fuck that person. I'm going to go after them the backwards way, right? If they had something on this man, they would have already brought it. Don't you think? If somebody had proved that he was having sex with 8-year-old girls or 8-year-old boys, wouldn't they have already brought it to the table?
Not necessarily.
The real distraction is let us try to prove that Trump is the one that was having sex with underage girls. Let's say he had sex with 2. What about the thousands of others? Where are all these missing kids? Why do we have all these children victims, but none of the rapists are in trouble? You see what I'm saying?
No, I don't. What are you saying?
Okay. Where do the children come from? Who are these kids in the videos and who are raping them? I do not think the people that we are expecting to be on this list are going to be like top dogs necessarily, because it's like the Les Wexners and like the guy who was running Abercrombie and Fitch. He was trafficking teenage boys through the Abercrombie and Fitch, and he's in jail. But it took 10, 20 years for him to get busted. Like, how are these people getting away with this for 10, 20 years?
But using the logic that you just tried to present to defend Donald Trump.
I'm not defending him.
Well, you were. But using that logic that you just tried to pass off, you said if they had proof that he was, doing anything with underage girls, then they would have already presented that. And,
I'm asking you.
Hold on. Let me get it out because I hope this makes sense to you. But then you follow that up with the guy who was running Abercrombie and Fitch was trafficking underage people, and it took them 20 years to catch him. So isn't it possible that Donald Trump was doing all of the stuff, but it'll take another 20 years to catch him, just like it took the 20 years to catch the Abercrombie and Fitch guy?
We're at the 20-year mark. Okay?
Right, and maybe that's why Jeffrey Epstein ended up dead, and he's trying to suppress the public getting this information.
I'm not arguing that. I mean, he could have put a hit on him. That's very possible. I'm not arguing that, but my thing is, Epstein wouldn't have went in jail. We're at the 20-year mark is what I'm saying. Okay, just like the war on drugs, right? Everybody went to prison for 20 years. 20 years for this, 20 years for that. So the last 5 years or so, we're at the 20-year mark. Oh. All these old politicians are all getting super duper old, but really it comes down to it's a trickle-down effect, right? From the local courts all the way up to the feds, right? And let's say Donald Trump is guilty. Okay, so are we going to just let's say he's guilty, we figured out, does that just erase the thousands and thousands of other victims? Does that just erase the fact that, like, Ohio is ground zero for this shit? Like, it all comes down to, like, Ohio. It's Ohio. Les Wexner runs Ohio State. Les Wexner runs our healthcare system. He runs the research. He runs the children and families. Like, it's all, our children are being extorted. They are the hottest commodity in America, whether they're unaccompanied minors, whether they're poor black kids, whether they're troubled white kids.
Let's do this.
I mean,
let's do this. Let's say Donald Trump may or may not have had sex with some underage girls with Jeffrey Epstein. But the point that we can agree on is somebody needs to be doing more to take care of our children.
Yeah, it's not just somebody. Right. We have to end immunity because state agents have immunity. If Jeffrey Epstein has thousands of hours of child porn found at his house, that's thousands of hours of child porn. You're not going to get Bill Clinton on the video, but Bill Clinton might have been jacking off to the video that he watched, which was probably a ward of the state being raped at the group home, right? But the group home has immunity, so those people never get arrested because of the money. It's $1 trillion business. Trillion. Just like the girl I told you was raped at the lighthouse. Look, there's a social worker involved in that case. There's a prosecutor involved in that case. There's a magistrate involved in that case. There are about 30 people involved with that girl who's at the lighthouse, and none of them are in trouble. So I don't want to lose, what do you say, lose the trees despite the forest or something like that. Something you know what I'm saying? Like that. Miss the forest despite the trees. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So if we focus on Trump, I think the point is, where's all these middlemen? If you have a girl in Cincinnati that's raped, we should know about it, right?
That was almost an eloquent way to try to get people to not think about Donald Trump as a potential pedophile.
Because we're not going to get anywhere focusing on that. That's the point. That is the distraction. Let's focus on Trump, but let's forget about DeWine. DeWine has an entire school district in Haiti.
Well, why focus on DeWine? You're not going to get anywhere with that either.
Okay, well, but it's human trafficking. When people, they want people to support. Do you know that there are unaccompanied minors right here in Hamilton County that are wards of Hamilton County? And when you look up the reports and shit, you have to dig for this. They send the notice. They put the notice on their website, Hamilton County website, and they send it to, they say the parent lives in an unknown address in Guatemala, but the county wants to take custody of that Guatemalan boy, right? That's not a problem. If we keep focusing on Trump, that's fine. Whatever he did, they're adults now. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm just saying it's a situation that we have to take advantage of.
You're trying to lead us to believe that he's innocent.
I don't know if he is or not, but whether he is or isn't doesn't change the fact that every state it's a problem, every county it's a problem. The lower courts, they're the ones that are preventing the record so that it cannot even be dealt with in the higher courts. You see what I'm saying? Like remember when Judge Winkler went online and was dogging that girl, that woman who had guardianship of her, like her aunt or something, and you know what he got? A slap on the wrist.
All right.
So if we keep focusing on Donald Trump or Obama or Bill Clinton, any of us can file a grievance against the judge. Any of us can file a grievance against the magistrate. Any of us can file a grievance against these dumbass prosecutors and these fucking attorneys. You know, like Ray Fowler. He's the head of Hamilton County.
Have you filed any grievances against any of these people?
Hell yeah. I thought yes, I have.
And how did it turn out?
I don't know. I'm still waiting because it took me a long time to find the information. Nobody's just going to tell you this stuff. Like nobody's just going to offer this to you. I mean, it takes a lot of hours and a lot of digging to even learn any of this stuff.
Where can I find your grievance?
That's the thing. When it comes to these state agents, it's not public. That's the problem. So, none of this stuff. When they say release the files, none of it. They're not. When they like HIPAA, right? They say that our health information is protected for us. No, it's not.
How many grievances have you filed?
Well, only 3.
3?
Against Magistrate Shane, against a social worker, against what's his name? Oh God, what's his name? A public defender. Yeah, but I just learned it because the thing is, if you don't create a paper trail, there's nothing.
Now, have you personally dealt with some social worker who mistreated you or someone that you know?
Well, yeah, because I have a special needs son, so I have to deal with the Hamilton County Department of Developmental Services. So yes, when I deal with an idiot social worker, I file a grievance with the social worker board, licensing board.
Well, but I'm talking about for child trafficking. Have you filed any grievances with regard to that?
What do you mean child trafficking?
Well, I thought the conversation, maybe I'm, out of line or confused. I thought we were having a conversation about all of these wealthy and well-connected people trafficking children, making all of this money trafficking children.
Well, but it's not just the wealthy. I mean, that's the higher ups, but it comes down to nonprofits, right? So, like locally, it's like the country is controlled by nonprofits.
Right.
Locally,
Hold on. Wait.
They're considered state agents.
But Shelley, I'm just trying to get an understanding. You were talking about people trafficking children, and you were saying that there are social workers and magistrates and judges involved in this whole thing, and we shouldn't be focused on Donald Trump. What we should be doing is filing grievances against these social workers, judges, and magistrates who are helping to traffic young children.
Right.
And what I'm asking is, have you filed any grievances against these people for helping traffic young children?
Well, trafficking comes in different forms, okay? Like
it doesn't matter what form.
Hear me out. We have all these mental health nonprofits in Hamilton County. When they're able to go into the schools,
I'm just asking,
right? And they can bill Medicaid for services that are not provided. That is a form of trafficking. Extortion is a form of trafficking, is it not?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it is in the context that we were speaking of it.
There's different. Okay, so. It's hard to explain. I'm not saying don't focus on Donald Trump, but don't lose focus on the Clintons either. The Clintons
well, you were clearly saying don't focus on Donald Trump, but that's fine.
If we only focus on that,
but then you said that we should file grievances against these people for trafficking these young people, in particular for sex. And I'm asking you, have you done that?
Well, not for trafficking, because if you say that, people are going to. They're not going to pay attention to it.
So you're saying no, you have not done that.
Not for trafficking specifically, but when you look at practicing outside of your scope, right? So if you're not trained to do certain things and you practice outside your scope, that's grounds for a grievance, right? Just like you can file a grievance against a cop, right? As long as but that's what I'm saying is, if you know something, there's a process in place to do it. Right, but if we only focus on let's get the big guys, we're never going to stop. We're not going to get to the bottom of it. And when it comes to Ohio, when you have these nonprofits that take in the Lighthouse, Beach Acres, Nella's Place, fucking who else? What else is there? New Path. There's so many of them. It's outrageous. When you see that they're bringing in Judge Zayas. Judge Zayas is on the board for Beach Acres. Now, isn't that kind of like a conflict of interest? You can't just make a complaint about that, but you can make a complaint about basically behind every child in the system, whether it's the juvenile court system or whether it's child services or whether it's Medicaid or whether it's a school. There is a process where people can file a grievance to make a paper trail.
Yes. If
we just keep focusing on, what happened 20 years ago on an island, that's not going to help us now. Yes, it's happening. I'm saying it's happening. Again,
look, I believe, I can't say that I know, I believe that there are a lot of people misusing children, as somebody put up here, exploiting children, and I believe it's very profitable. And so I agree with you. And so I agree with you in there. Of course, where you lose me is where you keep trying to get the attention off of Donald Trump, as if to say, well, Donald Trump might have did it, but So what? What about these people? And that is bothersome to me. That you keep trying to slide in like we're not savvy enough to hear you. You know what I'm saying? Try to defend Donald Trump in what you're saying. So I think I may agree with a lot of the sentiment of a lot of what you're saying. It feels sneaky and underhanded to try to slide in, leave Donald Trump alone in there. I think that's
I can
where
see what
I'm
you're
having.
saying that for. I know why you're saying that.
You've said it like 12 times.
I can see why you're saying that.
Yeah.
And I know where you're coming from with that, and that's a fair argument, but that's not the case. It's just there's a chain of command with all of this, right? So behind every child is a team of state agents, and unless we end immunity for these state agents, which is a lot of them.
I don't know that state agents have the immunity that you think they have.
They do.
I don't know. I don't know that to be true. I actually think that's not true, but I can't say with 100% certainty.
Well, they do, and that's why we have all these victims. And okay, so basically, it's kind of like, if I just use an example, I don't want you to run with it. Let's say like somebody supplies Donald Trump with a prostitute, right? And then it turns out she's 17. Now,
let's make her 14, because I think that's more along the lines of probably what was going on.
Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, but at 14, I looked 19, so I don't know. But then again, you have the 14-year-old hose, and that's a problem. But okay, so for argument's sake, I'm just saying, let's say you receive that person without the whole truth, right? And then it's like, wait a minute, you gave me a 14-year-old, you promised me she was 24. Now you have a vendetta type of thing. Now that's way different than saying I want a 14-year-old. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm just using that as an argument because
you are using it as another sly way to try to defend Donald Trump. Just understand, I hear what you're doing. I understand what you're doing. And I think it undermines the rest of the point that you're trying to make. When the point that you're making is that people shouldn't be exploiting these children, but then you come up with 17 different excuses for why, if Donald Trump did it, maybe he didn't really mean to do it. If he had sex with a 14, maybe he thought they were 20. Because I looked 19 when I was 11, so maybe if he had sex with an 11-year-old, he thought they were 19. I think it undermines the point that you're trying to make. And so maybe if you really want your point to be taken seriously, stop defending the person who may or may not be a pedophile, because you undermine yourself.
The thing, Emanuel, nobody even paid attention to any of this until Donald Trump was in the spotlight. But let's bring it local, right? So the 14-year-old that was killed, we want to talk about the parents, right? Everyone wants to jump to the parents. Let's say this child, his mom actually lives local, but she's not around here anymore. Let's say he's a ward of the state, whether he's with kinship, whether he's whatever. Now, you can be a ward of state in many different avenues. If you're truant, you're a ward of the state. Anything can make you a ward of the state. Now, if we want to blame the parents, we're gonna let the group. Let's say he lived at a group home. We don't know, but let's say he does. People will say, "Oh, where's the parent? Where's the parent?" Now we're not holding that group home accountable for not keeping track of this kid and putting him in danger. We're not holding the county accountable for not keeping track of this child. That's what I'm saying. If we focus on the wrong thing, okay, like Justin Bieber and Diddy. Well, why did his mom sign him up with Diddy? Well, that doesn't mean if Diddy raped him that it's okay because the mom put him in a position. That's how we let these people get off.
I agree.
Because we want to that's all I'm saying. I don't know any other way to put it. Whether Diddy raped Bieber or not, I don't know. I'm not simping for Diddy, and I'm not simping for Bieber.
No, you're not. Not for either one of them.
Right, but I'm just saying, the mom didn't necessarily know. She might not have had any say-so in the matter.
Yeah, she was irresponsible at the very least. But
right?
I get it. I understand what you're saying, and I had to move on.
No, that's fine. I just think that we have an opportunity now that this is even a topic to where we can go after the real extortionists, the prosecutors, the magistrates, the county administrators, or the agency administrators. They're not on our side. Democrat or Republican, they hate us. Like, our government hates us.
Yes, from the top.
That's all I'm saying.
From
Locally,
the top down.
From the top down.
Yes.
Left and right. They hate us, and they hate our kids, and that's all it comes down to.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think this is a big deal. I hope people don't quit talking about it. You know? I mean, what do you think?
I agree with you.
No way. We don't agree. But who knows? I mean, I'm still bothered by the girl that was raped at the White House. Like, I'm really still bothered by that. And I think somebody needs to be in trouble for that.
All right.
Somebody. But, all right. We'll see.
I appreciate your call.
All right. Take care.
All right. Yeah, I was peeping what she was doing. People like who they like. When she said it, when I was, I looked like I was 19. Like, yeah, you trying to say that if he had sex with a 12-year-old, then he really thought she was 19. So that make it okay when Trump did it. I got it. I got what you were saying. And again, like I said, I think it undermined her point. James.
E-man.
Hey.
Wow. Oh boy, that was hard. Hopefully I can bring some intelligence to this conversation.
All right.
But no, what I called for. So I hear you're going to cable. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, which program are you in?
Cybersecurity.
So is that the 12-week or the 24?
Yeah, the 12-week.
12 weeks. You know, I thought about doing that about 4 years ago, but they kind of tried to trick me on the price. Actually, when I started to go through the process, they had me apply for some type of program where they would offset the cost of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them that I wouldn't qualify for any type of program because I'm a single black man with no kid. So that's going to exclude me. Plus, I told her I make more than whatever, income. And I think they sent my application through, and of course it came back. I didn't get the funding, but I didn't think I was because I went into it knowing that I would have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was prepared to pay for it, and I was supposed to start that Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up there to kind of, because I was going to pay, half up front, and then they say if you don't find a job that you don't have to pay. But I was going to just pay it all off. And they hit me with like a 18% increase. And I just thought, wait a minute, why do I have to pay this 18%? And the way she explained it was, since I didn't get the funding, which I never thought I would, nor did I even want, that then they would have to assess an extra cost. And that just didn't sit well with me, which is why I'm out here in Vancouver, because I was like, okay, since this changing career thing is not going to work, and I really already have a 4-year degree, I just wanted to change careers because I've been doing this a very long time. So I found this job out here and I came out here, but I still have interest in doing that exact same thing because I was going to start Clark College 6 months ago for cybersecurity, and something with that happened. So,
well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, that hasn't been my experience, but
good.
I hope that if it's something that you actually want to do, you want to change careers and get into that field, I hope you find a way to make that happen.
Well, since you're going through it, I'm going to keep tabs with you.
All right.
And see how it goes with you.
Yeah.
Because I can do that same thing out here, but I don't know if there's a cable academy.
Well, I mean, even if all works out with me, like if they scam me, and at the end of this thing, I'm just sitting here, ass out, like, oh, they got me. Then you'll know, hey, don't mess with cable. But if it work out, then, you can do it virtually. So, then that way you can be like, hey, I'm going to do Cable Academy virtually. So either way, you'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together.
Yeah, but I got to wait for you to do it 12 weeks, man. That's 3 months. That's a long time.
It's not that long.
Well, see, I was going to do it part-time, so I was going to do the 24 week thing because I had a job, and I didn't have the free time. So I want to keep track of this. Hopefully you'll continue the show, if not twice a week, once a week. But hopefully at the end of it, I hope you come back on and give us a assessment of how it is.
I will.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Now, I got to ask you one more question.
All right.
I got to clown you on this one.
Uh-oh.
Why do you continue to have conversations that are A-level conversations with people with C-level intelligence?
I don't know that that's my assessment. I don't necessarily agree that I'm having A-level conversation with people that are C-level intelligence. Actually, I'm maybe C-level intelligence myself. And I just think different people look at things from different perspectives. And I'm always open to hearing somebody else's perspective, even if they don't agree with mine, and even if we don't reason the same way. A whole lot of what I try to do is I really do try to understand what it is that people are saying, whether or not I agree with it, because sometimes things get lost. You might say something and it's easy to perceive that what you were saying was this, but what you were really saying was that. So I'm going to ask you, James, just let me make sure I understand. Are you saying so-and-so? And then, we can at least get an understanding. And then I know I agree with James or, I don't agree with James. But I know it based on getting clarity so that we both have the understanding of what each other is saying. So I don't, that's really what I try to do, is understand. So, plus I don't like to diminish people's intelligence just because they reason differently than I do.
But a small part of it is you want to expose how stupid their thought process is.
Well, no. I do. I do want to expose
the
sometimes
facial expressions you make. Come on, man.
No, that's me trying to understand. and I do sometimes, if I perceive that their thought process is flawed, I'm not trying to expose them like, I want everybody to see that you're stupid. I'm trying to expose them to a different thought process, or at least get them to, recognize what I perceive as the flaw in their thought process. And then hopefully if they recognize the flaw, then, because I can speak for me. I want to be right. People get mad at me. You always want to be right. Absolutely, I want to be right. So if you show me where my thinking is flawed, I'm going to fix it. So that's what I hope that people do. And that would, of course, kind of be contingent upon them agreeing with me when I say their thinking is flawed. But if you present it to them and they still don't see the flaw, what can you do?
You just read a scripture to Twin. He was reading the same scripture. Yet, he thought it was something totally different than what you perceived it as. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And you made sure you pointed that out correctly?
Yes.
Okay. That's all. That's all.
But again,
But
that doesn't
the
that
facial
doesn't
expressions is the killer, though.
but
right?
that doesn't
I'm telling you
mean
that.
he's wrong, even though he is. That doesn't mean that he's wrong. That just means that we have a different
I'm sorry.
understanding of what that scripture means.
Okay. Well, sir, I hope you have a great time. I hope you're successful, but I also hope you come back on occasions.
No doubt about it. Yeah, no, I'm not
I'm not
stopping.
going to be selfish and say, "Oh, E-Man, this is the only black conversation I get to have." And now you go snatch it away from me.
Yeah, no.
No, it's all good,
I'm
though.
not stopping. But this is not over.
Okay, good.
All
So
right.
I'll keep in contact, and I won't bombard you with questions every day or every week. I'll wait till you get through the process,
All right.
and then I'm gonna hit you with 1,000 questions.
All right.
Because I really want to change careers.
Okay. Well, I look forward to being somebody that you can, kind of watch and make an assessment off of.
Now I'm not gonna watch. I'm just gonna sit back and hopefully you're able to get through all of the tests. Because I remember when I went back to school and worked, and it was hard, man.
Yes.
It was hard. So yeah, that 7 to 10. That's a tough schedule, dude. And you're gonna have to do homework. So yeah, yours gonna go from 8 to 9.
Well, I'm doing 9 to 5. So
Yeah, right. But you're gonna have to start at 8 a.m. and then you get home and then you do homework and then you do family. Yeah, that makes it a long day, man.
yeah, I'm okay. I got a support system. So yeah,
I see. Yeah, great. That's great. Boy, you looking old though, man.
I'm old.
I was looking at some pictures earlier, and that gray hair has came in good.
Well,
Quickly,
it came
but-
in,
but
and I
there.
don't know good or not, but it came in.
Yes, it did. And why do these people keep thinking I'm Brent, man? This is
Y'all do sound a
Crazy.
lot alike. Y'all sound a lot alike. They're just kind of
Daniel,
riffing off the
Brent
idea that you
doesn't
two
have a-
sound a lot alike.
Brent doesn't have a speech impediment. Brent is in Texas, and I am in Vancouver, Washington. So, tell Nat that I'm encouraging him. I'm never hating.
He heard you.
I'm encouraging you. So, yeah. All right then, man. Have it. I'm out. Bye.
All right. Have a good one. All right. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow, roughly the same time, around 6:00. And we'll talk about things. And maybe I'll be a little more well read on the go. Oh, hold on, let me. Jerika!
Why did you try to avoid taking my call?
I would never do that.
I saw you look at the screen and start laughing. I just real quick. For one, James was going a little hard on you. I think he was trying to do some zingers at the end there, talking about you look old. I was like, geez, James. But I just wanted to know if I can ask ChatGPT to show me scriptures where fingers are involved. Why in the hell would a grown person think that the saying of pointing your finger and 3 fingers are pointing back at you came from the motherfucking Bible? Who would say that in the Bible?
He thought it was in the Bible.
He genuinely thinks it's in the Bible and probably still does because he asked ChatGPT, ChatGPT, show me a scripture where it talks about fingers. When you read it, I was like, this has to be fake. Like, Mikalikahai kind of faith. Like, that's in the Bible. And when Shelley said, lose the trees to fight the forest, I was like, what is happening right now? I don't know if these are adults or children. Like, this is nuts. But when he said it was in the Bible and you can find it and he has read it before, I was like, this is insane. This is absolutely insane.
A lot of people think that a lot of things, a lot of old sayings that they heard are in the Bible. They really believe that.
Who thinks that?
A lot of people.
No one thinks that saying is, though, sir. No one. I believe no one but Tween, because no one above the age of 10 would think that that is in the Bible. And he says he knows the Bible and tells you you don't read your Bible. It actually came from earlier today because Lincoln had said something about it on his show. So that could be why Twin hadn't really done his research, so he thought that it did come from the Bible. I don't know, but I was not going to let this show go without calling in and asking you exactly where that was in the Bible, because I know you're a preacher's kid and everything. So I didn't know. Maybe I missed that day and what chapter it was in. I don't know, but yeah. But welcome back.
Well, thank you. I believe Saul was on the road to Damascus.
Mm-hmm.
And he ran up on some people, and that was when he said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the bush was probably burning behind them? Maybe.
Pretty sure it was Saul. Saul said it before he changed to Paul. And so, yeah.
And then those 3 fingers caused him to turn to a pillar of salt. I think so.
The 3 fingers.
Because, yeah.
No. So
but what happens with the
you
thumb?
thinking of somebody different.
But what happens to the thumb? I thought its 4 fingers are pointing back at you.
I think people adjusted that because nobody points like that to have the thumb pointed back at them. So the thumb is, technically just pointed into the
down,
and not down.
So we don't count the thumb because the thumb is folded in.
No, the thumb is.
I thought you pointed like a gun.
Yeah,
like,
the thumb is pointed up.
Oh, I thought. Oh, your thumb doesn't point back. My thumb points back.
No, it points up. If you really look at it, it's more pointed up. Unless you, really got it cocked back. And then who are you pointing at if it's actually cocked back pointing at you?
Okay, I'm going to let you go, but welcome back.
Thank you, Jerica.
Bye.
All right. That's Jerica. Oh, it's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. I definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Again, I'll try to get it here tomorrow. We'll play it by ear, a week or two, and hopefully then we settle into a nice little routine, and we'll know, we'll figure it all out. But as always, I want y'all to enjoy the rest of your. The thumb is over the middle finger. I guess some people could point like that. I always point like that. If I'm pointing at you, that's how I'm pointing. Look at him. Him. He's a horrible guy, I'm not pointing like that. But all right, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. And as always, try to be the reason that somebody smiles this evening. Until next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.